7 couples walked out of those pods with a ring on their finger and a whole lot of hope in their hearts. 7 couples sat across from someone they had never seen before and said yes. I want to build a life with you. I choose you. Without knowing your face, without knowing your height, without knowing if the spark would survive the moment those pod doors finally opened. And now, March 11th is 5 days away. The reunion is coming. And out of those 7 couples, the stories that have come out since filming Wrapped are honestly some of the most dramatic this show has ever produced. A divorce, a secret courthouse marriage, an engagement to someone brand new, a baby on the way, and at least one man who looked his fiancée in the eyes at the altar, said, I do not choose you, and then somehow ended up engaged to a completely different woman within months. We are going through every single couple today, the full story, from the pods all the way to right now, before the reunion changes everything on March 11th. Let us start from the very beginning. Season 10 of Love is Blind brought us to Ohio. And unlike previous seasons that focused on one specific city, this season pulled singles from all across the state. Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, all of it. Which meant the pods had more variety, more personalities, and honestly, more chaos than usual. 8 couples actually got engaged in the pods this season. 8. But one of those couples, Alyssa and Miguel, was not even included in the final edit of the show. And their story is one of the wildest footnotes of the entire season. They got engaged. They went back to Ohio. And then, Miguel immediately announced he was moving to Tampa. Just packed up and left. And then proceeded to ghost Alyssa entirely. The reason that makes it even messier? Alyssa apparently knew Miguel's previous fiancé. So there was history there that neither of them had fully addressed before stepping into those pods. That couple never even made it to the show. And honestly, their whole situation might have been the most dramatic of the entire season, if it had been filmed properly. Now let us get into the couples who actually made it to our screens. Chris and Jessica. Let us start here, because their story is one of the most talked about of the entire season, and for all the wrong reasons. Chris and Jessica got engaged in the pods. They had a connection. They left Mexico together. And then things started unraveling almost immediately once they were living together in the real world. The moment that went completely viral, the clip that spread everywhere online, was when Chris sat Jessica down and essentially told her that he was struggling to find her physically attractive because she did not do Pilates every day. Let that land for a second. This man got engaged to a woman in a pod, where attraction is supposed to be entirely emotional and personality-based, and then told her the reason he was losing interest was because of her workout routine. On camera, while she was sitting right there. Jessica ended the engagement, and honestly, she should have ended it faster than she did. But here is the good news, and this is one of the best updates from the entire season. Jessica is now reportedly dating a man named Haramol, who is a doctor and who was actually one of the pod daters from this same season who did not get matched with anyone. She came to this show, survived what Chris put her through, and still found love through the process. Just not with the person the experiment paired her with. That is actually a beautiful ending to a really ugly story. Now, Alyssa and Miguel. We already covered them. Pods, engagement, Tampa, ghost. Next. Let us talk about Brittany and Devonta, because this one is a whole multi-chapter story, and we need all of it. In the pods, Brittany and Devonta had one of the sweetest connections of the season. Brittany is a labor and delivery nurse. Devonta has this nerdy, gentle energy that she immediately responded to. He proposed talking about a future filled with laughter and lots of babies. They were genuinely happy. And then they got to the real world, and the physical chemistry was an issue. Their love languages were different. The tension started building. And then, before their wedding day, Devonte made the decision to end the engagement. He said, and I am paraphrasing here, that he could not walk into a marriage with self-doubt about whether he could love her the way she needed to be loved. That he did not want to say yes just to say yes and then let her down later. And honestly, that was actually a mature decision. A painful one for Brittany, but a mature one for Devonte to make before the altar rather than after. But here is where Devonte's story takes a turn that nobody saw coming. After filming Wrapped, Devonte started dating another woman named Taylor. That relationship apparently ran its course. And then, after Taylor, Devonte is now reportedly engaged to someone completely new and has a baby on the way with her. All of this happened between April 2025, when filming Wrapped, and the reunion in March 2026. So, within less than a year, this man ended an engagement on a Netflix show, dated someone else, broke up with that person, got engaged to a third woman, and is now expecting a child. And he has to walk onto that reunion stage and explain all of that to Brittany and to everyone watching. That is a lot. That is genuinely a lot. Now Connor and Bree. And this one goes from heartbreak to one of the most surprising happy endings of the entire season. Connor and Bree were one of the most fun couples in the pods. The banter was easy, the chemistry was real. They bonded over sports, family, the kind of future they both pictured. Connor went all in for Bree from the start. But once they got to the real world, cracks started appearing. Bree had lingering feelings about her connection with Chris in the pods, her number 2, and when they reconnected by the pool in Mexico, it triggered Connor's insecurities hard. By the time wedding day arrived, Bree had too many doubts. She and Connor made the decision together not to go ahead with the TV wedding. It was handled with more grace and maturity than most breakups on this show. They were sad, but respectful. And it genuinely felt like a door closing. Except, here's what happened next. A marriage certificate has been circulating online that shows Connor and Bree were legally married in Hamilton County, Ohio, on March 28, 2025. After the show. After the breakup. Quietly. At a courthouse. Connor is listed as an account manager. Bree as a senior merchant. This is a real legal document. So these two decided not to get married on national television, ended things on camera, and then privately went and got married anyway without telling a single person. That is one of the most unexpected love story endings this show has ever produced. And the reunion is going to be the first time they talk about it publicly. Now Emma and Mike. And this one is genuinely one of the most emotionally complicated stories of the season. Emma and Mike had a deep connection in the pods, but the issue that kept coming up, the one that neither of them could fully resolve, was children. Emma expressed uncertainty about whether she definitely wanted kids. Mike was firm. He wanted a family. He needed to know that his partner was completely sure about that before he committed. They made it to the altar. Emma said yes first. She looked at Mike and told him she could not see a future without him and that she loved him. Really, really loved him. And Mike said no. He told her he was not ready to say I do because he needed to know she was 100% certain about having children. And he did not feel that certainty from her, which is painful. But here's the detail that makes it even more complicated. According to reports, Emma and Mike had actually privately agreed before the wedding that they were both going to say no, that they had discussed it and decided together to end things at the altar. And then Emma changed her mind at the last minute and said yes, and Mike held to the original plan. So she said yes to someone who already expected her to say no, and he said no to someone who had just surprised him with a yes. There is real hurt on both sides of that altar moment, and the reunion is going to be the first time either of them speaks about what actually happened in that conversation beforehand. Ashley and Alex. Where do we even start with these two? Alex was a former professional soccer player who was very open about the fact that he prioritized physical attraction in his dating life. He was honest about that going into the pods. When the doors opened and he finally saw Ashley, he said chemistry was not an issue. Ashley made it very clear that intimacy was a major priority for her, and they seemed to be on the same page. But the cracks in Alex's character started showing during their time in Cabo. He pulled Brittany aside during a pool day and told her that she was his typical physical type and that Ashley was not. While Ashley was right there. Without telling his fiancée he had said this. And then, at the altar, Ashley made the decision before Alex even had a chance to speak. She looked at him and said she knew what he was going to say. That she knew he did not choose her. And she was not choosing him either. She called him a liar in front of his entire family and friends. She said something that has been replayed everywhere since the finale dropped. She told him that his stories were so vivid, so detailed, that he said a lot of words. But she always found herself more confused at the end of their conversations than before. And that lying was a non-negotiable for her. Neither of them left that altar with a ring on their finger. And based on everything that has come out since, neither of them has looked back. And finally, the couple that everyone has been talking about the most, Amber and Jordan. Jordan walked into the pods saying he did not want to date a woman with children. That was his stated boundary. And then he met Amber, 34 years old, single mother to a 7-year-old girl named Emma. And every boundary he thought he had disappeared within 2 episodes. He called her his home. She called him her person. But going into the wedding, Amber was genuinely not sure Jordan was going to say yes. She was fully expecting him to walk away. She later admitted she was not expecting him to go through with it at all. But he did. Both of them said, "I do." Emma sat in the front row and watched her mom get married, and it was one of the most emotional moments of the season. And then the cameras went down, and everything unraveled. After filming wrapped, Amber traveled to Europe, Barcelona, Pompeii, beautiful content. No Jordan anywhere in any of it. Then, the season 10 women had a cast reunion trip to Miami. Amber showed up looking incredible. Still no ring visible on her finger in any of the photos. The Reality Receipts podcast confirmed it. Amber and Jordan's marriage lasted approximately 3 months. And the rumor that has been circulating widely is that Jordan moved his belongings out of their shared home while Amber was at work. She came home, and he was gone. If that is confirmed at the reunion on March 11th, Amber and Jordan become the first couple in the American version of Love is Blind to announce an actual legal divorce at a reunion special. Not a split before the altar, not a quiet statement months later. A divorce. On camera, in front of the entire cast. In the reunion preview clip, you can see Amber storming off the stage. She is furious. Not sad, furious. And in the seating arrangement visible in the promo images, Amber and Jordan are not sitting next to each other. Which on this show is basically the producers telling you everything before anyone opens their mouth. And then there is the one couple that came out of all of this looking like the real love story of season 10, Vic and Christine. These two connected faster than any couple this season. Christine said from their very first 10-minute conversation in the pods, she felt something. Something she could not explain but also could not ignore. Vic said at the altar that Christine knew more about him than anyone else on the planet. Both of them said yes. They got married on April 9th, 2025, according to their marriage certificate. And according to the Reality Receipts podcast, which has been accurate on every major spoiler this season, Vic and Christine are still happily married today. Almost a year in, still going strong. In a season full of walkouts, ghostings, last-minute no's, and a divorce that is about to make history, Vic and Christine are the reminder that this experiment can actually work, that sometimes the voice in those pods really is enough, that sometimes love really does not need to see your face first. And now all of these people, every single one of them, are walking onto that reunion stage on March 11th. Some with rings still on, some with papers already filed, some with babies on the way and new partners to introduce, and some with answers that the rest of us have been waiting months to hear. This reunion is not just the end of season 10, it is the full story. Every chapter, every truth, every conversation that the cameras did not catch. March 11th, 9 p.m. Eastern, Netflix. Comment below right now. Which couple's reunion moment are you most nervous to watch? Because for me, it is Emma and Mike. That altar conversation has been sitting with me for days, and I need answers. If this video gave you the complete Season 10 breakdown you needed before the reunion, a like genuinely helps this channel reach more people. Subscribe if you are new because the full reunion reaction is dropping the same night it goes live on Netflix. You do not want to miss that one. Ohio Pod Squad, 5 days. We are ready.